Okay. Got it. Okay.
You're good. You're not muted.
All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And to start the meeting off this afternoon, could I get a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. At this point in time, I'd like to call on any public comments. Glenn, is there anybody that would like to address the board in the group?
No, there's no one that would like to address the board to.
Okay.
No.
All right, then at this point in time, Dr. Chong?
Yeah, I want to just welcome everybody, wish everybody a happy holiday. A lot of activity going on in facilities at the college. We're trying to finish up our projects before the year end. We're getting some rain. I'm sure Seraphin will talk about that. It's much needed, but want to see how that, if that's having any impact. So I think I'll turn it over to Seraphin, and I know there's a couple action item agendas that they need to move through as well. So that's it.
Thank you, Frank.
So we do have two action items on the agenda for you today. They will both be presented by our foundation director, Jay Molyneux.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy holidays. So I have two very exciting naming proposals to bring to you today. The first one involves the student housing building. You may not remember this, and some of you weren't on the board, but the very first item that I brought to the board when I arrived 3 years ago was a naming opportunity list for the various Measure H projects, and the student housing was one of those. And the board approved the naming of the student housing building after a donor. It's pretty rare. All of our buildings are typically named after a trustee, but because for a variety of reasons, we thought this would be a good building to put a donor name on. And we established a $1 million gift level for that opportunity. And we have not identified that $1 million donor. We got a $500,000 gift, but we have not identified a $1 million donor. But we still want to have a donor name on that facility. So we started to look at legacy giving at the college. What are some of the largest gifts we've ever received? And we began to focus on the Doyle Trust. And as it turns out, we were, so we don't have the $1 million, but I think we came up with something even better than that. That we just recently were talking to the Doyle trustees and the scholarship committee to carve out some new scholarships for students who will be residing in the dormitory. So it'll be called the Doyle Housing Scholarships. It'll actually be $400,000 a year that will go to students basically in perpetuity. So it's a much better deal than $1 million, because it'll be much more than that over time. So that would be a new Doyle Housing Scholarship for $400,000. So anyone living in the dormitory will be eligible for this scholarship. It would be about $1,000 or $1,200 scholarship. In that spirit, though, we looked at how we might recognize that additional contribution from the Doyle Trust, plus the tremendous history we've had from the Doyle since 1951 when we made the first scholarship from the Doyle. In 2022, the Doyle Trust actually surpassed the $100 million mark in distributions for scholarships to SRJC students. So we really wanted to honor that legacy in this new commitment. So we're proposing that we name the student dormitory the Polly O'Meara Doyle Hall. As you know, as you're well aware, we have Frank Doyle on our library, and we wanted to add Polly Doyle to the student housing building so that we finally recognize her role in all of this. And speaking of her tremendous role, if you go back and read Floyd Bailey's History of the College, which I just did recently, on page 2, you will find a list of 14 women who were part of the Federated Home and School Association. These 14 women got together on November 13th, 1917, and recommended the formation of a community college in Santa Rosa. Their recommendation went to the school board 3 days later and was approved. So these 14 women are really the founders of our college, and Mrs. Frank Doyle, which is what she was referred to back then, was a member of this group. So we wanted to honor that history. We'll put her name on the building, but we'll also put a plaque in the lobby that will recognize these 14 women and the contribution they made to our college. So that's our proposal.
Okay, is there any questions before we call for a motion? Caroline?
Just one. I completely support this. I think this is a great idea. I just wondered, since the board previously voted for the $1 million donor, procedurally, is that a problem in any way? I don't know. So I'm just asking. Or
The board can override that. If the board approved it, they can approve this as well and override that.
Okay.
okay.
Very good.
Yeah. But we wanted to make sure we made up for the $1 million, and I think we've made up for it and then some.
And then some, huh? Very good. Okay. I'd like to call for a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, Jay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So my second proposal has to do with someone very near and dear to all of us who's on the screen today, Dr. Frank Chong. As you know, Dr. Chong will be retiring in June of next year. And there's a history at the college, I know that you're all aware of this, of naming spaces after departing presidents. We have the Bailey Field, Dr. Agrella's on our art gallery, the Agrella Art Gallery. So I had an early conversation with Terry Lindley about this, and we wanted to find an appropriate space that would be called the Frank Chong, whatever it is, right? So, and so what we've landed on is the Studio Theater, which is part of the Burbank Auditorium. I don't know if some of you will remember that actually was not part of the original plan, and that was added a little later in the planning, and Dr. Chong was very supportive of it. And I think it's very fitting that his name be attached to one of the Measure H projects, because that will be a huge part of his legacy here to the college. So I'm proposing today that we name I think we're just going to call it Frank Chong, the Frank Chong Studio Theater and Burbank Auditorium. I have met with the theater arts people, by the way, Leslie McCauley, and she spoke to James Newman. They are very much in favor of this, but that's my second proposal today.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Do I hear a motion or any questions?
I guess so moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Dr. Chong.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. This is quite an honor, and I appreciate the thought that went into it. Everybody knows that I'm a big theater fan, and to have anything next to a Burbank or a auditorium and next to a Chong Studio Theater is really going to be something I will always cherish as an honor, as part of what I've tried to do here. And I really, really appreciate the thoughtfulness and that everybody put into this. So thank you very much. I feel very, very humbled and honored.
Congratulations once again. Thank you, Jay, too.
Thank you, Dr. Chong. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Seraphin?
Yes, next on our agenda is the first information item that will be presented by Kate Jolly.
Where's Kate?
Kate, you may be on mute still.
I am. This is what happens when I come to BFC after going to a holiday party. Sorry. Okay, so I just wanted to give everybody an update. We were able to issue Series C last month now. So we issued Series C and Series C1. C was for 95 million, C1 was for 10 million, and will address the longer term tech needs of the district once the bond, the Series C, which has to be spent, the 80% of it in 3 years, is done. And so we have something to tide us through until we can get another bond passed or a longer sustainable funding.
to 5:30 p.m.
So the sale was very successful. It was exciting. Whitney and I were actually up at 6:30 and watched it sell. It was, we had interest that normally doesn't even look at bonds of our size. And so it really went to the credit of the college as well as what a good job we all do. So we were really proud. We were really excited. And so I just wanted to let you know they did sell and they have closed and we do have all of our money. So.
So Kate, could you just for reiterate the difference because we already sold the rest of the Measure H bond. What makes C special?
So C is just the final amount. So we've got C, which is just a normal final issuance, and then C1 is the one that's a little bit special. So C1 we didn't do in tax-free. They're in taxable taxable munis, so that we don't have to have that 3-year spend rule. So when we're selling them free, you have to spend 80% of it within 3 years, or you head into arbitrage calcs and everything. So by doing that 10 million in taxables, we're able to do it so that we can cover technology years 4 through 10 after Series C is done and not have any IRS issues. So help tide us over.
And you sold it today?
No, we sold on, I believe it was November 7th. Let me double
Okay,
check.
so a while, okay. Because the market was way down today.
Yeah, no, November 8th we sold.
All right.
And
all right. Thank you.
I just want to thank Kate and her team because they did a great job in preparing the bond sale. Even though interest rates are higher than normal, we received a very, very favorable rating and our bonds sold like hotcakes. And so I think we have a really good team of David Casanoka and Ivory Lee. We all work together, and I couldn't have been more pleased with how the bond team, they said we work with a lot of colleges, but the JC's reputation and in terms of even our fiscal condition, our reserve and everything, and stability of the college, we had very favorable terms. So thank you, Kate, and your team for that.
Very good.
Thank you. And now we'll bring up the capital projects presentation. Glenn?
Did you guys see the PowerPoint?
No, I think we're now we do. If you can just start it from the beginning.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here are this month's purchasing updates, starting with current solicitation related to the Towser Gym project. Submissions for pre-qualification of general and MEP contractors were received on November 9th and are being evaluated by the committee. And this project will be paid with Measure H funds. Also this month on the board's meeting agenda will be a recommendation for the board to approve the 3 items listed here. First, the board will be asked to approve an award for the wireless network infrastructure for the Doyle and Mahoney libraries to Presidio Networked Solutions for $248,969.04. And that would be through a purchasing cooperative and funded by Measure H. The next is a request to approve an award for office furniture related to the Busman IT project in the amount of $298,583.64. And that would be to KI through a purchasing co-op. They'll also be funded by Measure H. And then lastly will be a recommendation for the board to approve an award to Blum Technology for the AV for ag portables for $183,103.29, also through a purchasing cooperative to be funded by Measure H. And then moving on to contracts and bids that were awarded last month. We had the Lindley STEM AV project that was awarded to CP for $1,788,993, which will also be funded by Measure H. And then lastly, we have two upcoming solicitations. First, we have the Bordeaux broiler replacement project. The scope of work is going to be modified and it will be rebid formally. And the project will be funded with state scheduled maintenance funds. And then lastly is the Towser Gym renovation project. And the current estimated budget is $23,500,000, also to be funded by Measure H. And that includes my purchasing updates.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next, we have update from IT. Kevin?
Good afternoon. Our Banner 9 SAS was approved at the October board meeting. Contracts have now been signed and we're in the midst of kickoff meetings, assembling teams, and such, so that we can hit the ground running with implementation at the beginning of the new year. So that's very exciting. Wow, this is going to end up being kind of a short update. Data center upgrade is in progress. We had purchased an upgrade for our Cisco HyperFlex. To translate this into English, basically you take your server, your virtual servers and your memory and your network infrastructure and you put it in one big box and manage it all together. So that's what we've been using for years, but we had some needs for increased capacity. So we had purchased last year a couple of modules to increase our performance, and those are in the process of being upgraded to increase our capacity. And particularly important with all of the security issues, all of the Merced College being hacked recently. One of the byproducts of that is it's going to increase our capacity for our disaster recovery and business continuity. So it's not only a good thing to be doing in general because we need more memory and more capacity, but it's also going to improve our security posture, and that makes the security guy in me very happy. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we'll go into project updates and we'll start with Ryan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So for the Busman IT renovation, in November, we had concrete ramps poured. We have framing and electrical roughing ongoing, and we had several offices painted. So we are moving along.
Thank you, Ryan. Heather.
Good afternoon. The plans are with DSA right now for final approval. Our architect is meeting with DSA today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and hopefully we'll have approval by Friday or sometime next week. As already mentioned in the purchasing update, we are pre-qualifying contractors and plan to bid the project in the spring. And in order to do Towser, we need to move everyone out. So we're renovating space for them at Annalee Village. We're completed with the structural improvements and the rough mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. As you can see in the photo, mirrors are installed at the dance and fitness rooms and painting is complete. You can't see it in the photo, but we also have started flooring this week. And here you can see like all the doors and frames have arrived, no lead time issues, and will be complete next week. And casework is also delivered today. Acoustical ceiling tiles are going in. And then we plan to complete at the end of this month and then move the first 2 weeks of January. And we also moved ESL out of Barnett last month. You can see some photos here from the move, and we will move HEP in early January over to Annalee Village as well, and then start working on plans to demo Barnett. And we'll probably do that in the summer.
Thank you, Heather. Next up is Rhonda.
Hello, everyone. We're working frantically to get the exterior weather tight. Roofing's nearly done. You can see we got the cement board over insulation. There'll be one more membrane, which will turn the building pink, and then the brick. Next slide. We got a new generator set. The guys are pulling in the main feeder in the upper picture. You can see we got the lab gas and plumbing in the one room downstairs. They're installing backing on the framing inside. Lots going on.
Thank you, Rhonda. And next up is Amy.
Good afternoon, everyone. The foundation building is, well, we completed the facilities walkthrough. The furniture move is actually happening today and tomorrow. The parking lot striping is complete. The irrigation system is complete and the planting is nearly complete. Cleaning, window cleaning and interior cleaning has happened. The water systems have all been tested. The punch list has been issued and is currently in process, and the foundation staff is scheduled to move into the offices on December 14th.
Very nice.
Thank you, Amy. Then real quick, I wanted to give everybody an update on the Petaluma Construction Center. The EDA finally approved our design plan. So now we are approved by DSA and EDA, and we have the green light to proceed with bidding the project. So we are currently working on putting the bid package together, and then we'll work with purchasing to have it out by mid-January. So we are right now on schedule to actually start construction in March for the project. Kudos and thank you to our project manager, Ron Stewart, who was very instrumental in making sure that we were addressing all of the questions and needs from EDA. This was a pretty tedious process so far. So I think we now have a green light to move forward with the rest of the project. Next, I wanted to share with you some information on the Emeritus Hall projects based on some of the comments that were presented to the board at last month's board meeting, public comments. Just to basically refresh memories and share some of the work that we have done at Emeritus Hall. As you may recall, the first security upgrade took place at Emeritus Hall. That project cost us approximately $1.7 million. We've also renovated the Emeritus Circle that improved a lot of the hardscape and landscape on the west side of the building, and then also the parking lot as part of that project. That project cost about $900,000. We are working with Media Services right now to complete the Newman Auditorium AV upgrade. That project is costing about $200,000. We are in the process of, we just started actually, the roof and HVAC replacement project. That project is estimated to cost about $8.2 million. And that this will replace the entire mechanical system, heating and air conditioning for the building, as well as the roof. With this project, we are eliminating the majority, I would say, of the complaints that we hear from the building. Since 2020, Facilities and Operations has received over 250 tickets for repairs, and I'm happy to say that they have been all addressed. Probably about 5 or 7 are outstanding, and those are only because they're very recent. A lot of those have been repaired using Measure H dollars. So to date, we have $11.2 million that have been committed to Emeritus Hall. And so I just wanted to share with this information with the BFC and answer any questions that or concerns that you may have.
Seraphin, I really appreciate you addressing this. It was going to be one of my questions. And I just think at some point it would be beneficial to share this with the rest of the board.
Yeah.
Just so they know. So anyway, thank you.
I just want to add that there's still a lot of work to be done at Emeritus, and we realize that. And I know that inside the classrooms, the furniture, some of the lighting, things like that. So we're not certain that in terms of handling it in this bond, but when you start a bond project of this magnitude, as I said earlier, and consistently, that when we did the assessment, there was about $1 billion worth of deferred maintenance at the district, and 410 million isn't going to cover everything. So this may be the type of project we need to put forward to the community for future bonds. But we are trying to make sure that the roof and the HVAC and some of the concerns brought by the faculty are being addressed so that we don't have mold or leaking roofs and things like that. So I just wanted to be clear that we're not saying everything's hunky-dory, but it's a big building. It's a very important building, and we're trying to do what we can to improve it and safeguard it from any further damage. Thank you.
Seraphin, I just wanted to thank you also for addressing this since there were some, as you know, concerns last month. I just wanted to ask for clarification. The two areas at the top where you talked about the security upgrades and the circle improvements, were those done recently, or has that been, when was that?
So the security upgrade project was completed in 2020.
Okay.
And Emeritus Circle improvement, that was late 2020, early 2021.
Oh, okay.
So we completed some of these projects actually as COVID, during COVID. So,
okay.
But, the security upgrades for the entire district, was
Oh, right.
priority. And so because Emeritus was such a large building and so exposed, we did prioritize it as the top building to get modernized with security before we actually started the district-wide program.
So I agree with Maggie. It would be great to share this with the rest of the board and the college community, just sort of what's already been done, and then things that are going to be done, like the Newman Auditorium and especially the roof and the HVAC. Because I think the more information folks have, the better. Even though I understand what Dr. Chong is saying, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but it is being addressed. I think that's the most important thing. So thank you.
Okay, and finally, the items that we have going. Oh, I'm sorry. Student housing, Mike.
Yes, good to see everyone. So showing a little bit different view of, and this will be the last meeting where I call it student housing. Next month, I can refer to it hopefully by its new name. But here's a nice view from the south. And the roof is finally air and water tight, which, as you can imagine, with rainy weather is a very good thing. And we've really been focusing, you can go to the next slide, I think there's one more, really been focusing on the interior of the project, continuing to work on the MEP systems, and even starting with finishes such as drywall. The work along Elliott to connect to utilities to Elliott is complete, or 99% complete, and we're still working to finish utility connections along Armory. That's been delayed just a little bit because of the rain, but we suspect that will be done in the coming weeks. And then perhaps most exciting is that even though we're still a ways from opening and from residents moving in, we have 50 signed leases, which is almost 15%. So 50 of our 352 beds, we've received leases back from those people wanting to live there. So at this stage, it's a very good sign. That's
And thank you, Mike. And before we go on to the next slide, I do want to share that both this project and the STEM project, our largest projects in construction, both construction teams have done an amazing job in getting the buildings ready for the winter. So even though, we've had a good amount of rain, the biggest impact has basically been on the exterior, muddy areas. So it's made the teams a little bit, busy on cleaning up the mud and getting through. But as far as the progress inside the buildings, it's moving forward. There we've experienced very little to no delay on the inside construction progress. And then the connections, all the utility connections for the student housing building, as Mike mentioned, have pretty much been completed. So there's very minor work that's left to be done, and that work is not actually impeding any, it's not creating a critical impact to our schedules. So both projects are online to be completed in the summer, as and are on schedule. With that said, the last item on our report are the consent agenda items. We have change order number 9 for the Lilly Center for STEM Education project at $350,000. That'll take our total change orders to 3.30. The main item on this change order, we had several changes that we needed to make to on AV and power outlets in order to accommodate the furniture and the equipment that was finalized earlier this year. We have one minor change order at Busman Hall, IT renovation for $6,469. This change order number 2 brings our total change orders to 1.79. This is one very minor unforeseen condition. Stephanie Jarrett reported on some of these purchases that we're asking for your approval on. For Busman IT furniture and the Sean Farm portable audiovisual contracts. We are complete at the Garcia Hall renovation, and so we are asking for you to approve the notice of completion for that project. And then we have one minor amendment for the architect at the Quinn Central Plant project to address some minor coordination issues between DSA and the pool project. That amendment is for $3,200. And unless you have any questions, this does conclude our report.
Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Terry, I have a question and a request.
Okay.
We reviewed, the finance committee reviewed the audit report, I guess that was yesterday. And what they put in the report, which was really informative, was a whole list of the Measure H projects and what's completed, what's not completed, where we are in the progress. And I would request that there's sort of an update to the full board that takes sort of a microscopic look at what's going on with Measure H. We've sold our last bonds. How much money do we have left? Are we doing anything more? Are we just going to finish what we started? Those kinds of questions, I think. So that's the request.
Yeah, Maggie, that's going to be in the report that Seraphin and I will be presenting at the next board meeting.
Oh, really?
What we've accomplished, where we are at.
Oh, good.
And what's left over. And it's going to be pretty detailed. It's going to be about a 15-minute report, and that'll give the board a chance to review it and ask any questions. And if there's further information that we didn't provide, we'd be happy to do it at that time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Great minds think alike.
And then my question is, and maybe you've told us this before, is what's going to happen to Annalee Village after we're through using it as swing space?
Well, the plan has been to demolish Annalee Village. However, because I think we've tried to leverage our dollars as much as possible. There are opportunities for us to relocate those portables and reuse them. So we are entertaining other options with those buildings, but the idea is that we would remove them from the Santa Rosa campus, and then that area would be paved as a parking lot.
Oh, it's going to be parking. Okay. So maybe it goes to Southwest? Or we don't know. I won't ask. Never mind. I'll wait and see.
When we
All
know,
right.
you know.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Seraphin.
You're welcome.
Okay, Seraphin, thank you very much. Any other questions from anybody? Before we adjourn the meeting, Glenn, is there anybody that would like to make any public comments about the presentations from today's agenda?
No, I do not see any hands up.
Good. Very good. Then happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for all your.
Hallelujah.
Take care.
Thank you.
See you soon.